Hi guys, Robert Ian Bonnick, RIB, inspirational speaker, inspirational coach, and author of Soul Survivor. Now today we're going to go into 3 reasons why people fail. Three reasons why people fail in writing a book. All right. So remember, as I usually say, if you're new to this or if you've been here with me already, remember to share this. Share it with people who you think will be into it, people who would like this content, people that can gain something of value from this, okay? Awesome. So let's kick off. So why do people fail? Okay. So as I remind you in the last video, if you haven't watched it, please go back and watch it. Now, the key to writing a book successfully is to have a plan. You've got to have a plan, right? Now, if you don't have a plan and you run into things along the way, it gives you an opportunity to see something as a big barrier, as a big challenge. And that challenge, for a lot of people, maybe they're not going to get over it, right? Whereas if you see ahead of time and you can see already, oh, okay, I know what's coming and I know how to get around it. If you have a plan, then that already is going to make your journey a lot easier. That's the main reason why people fail, because they haven't got a plan. We provide you with a plan. I'll provide you with a plan. Number 2 is, it's the ego, right? The ego. We spoke about this before. It's like having like delusions of grandeur, right? And it's rewriting your book based upon your ego. When you do an autobiography, non-fiction, right? What you're trying to do here is to bring your reader into your life. Bring your reader into your experience. Bring your reader into your mind. If ego is present, it's not going to happen. Because when someone knows that this person is just trying to look good, you feel it on some kind of level in our body. We feel it, right? And we understand that this person is just trying to look good, right? Your ego is really important. You've got to have that in check. We all have an ego. We all have one. Ego is great, by the way. But in writing a book, you want to really connect to your authenticity. So things like, like before, I write a book, I meditate. So there's a really great little focusing meditation that I do. And this meditation, it evacuates all of the ego out of me. So for example, as you know, I'm a speaker as well. So before I go on stage, before I do any of that, I basically go to my balcony or anywhere really. I close my eyes, right? Take 3 deep breaths. Okay. Now already my energy is coming down. And what I do with those breaths then is that I envisage, close my eyes, white light coming down, showering me, white light. Then the prayer which I say to myself is that, please allow me to be of best value to the room and those people in it. So please allow me to be of the greatest value to the room and those people in it. Now, whenever I do that, you see how I've moved? I moved the concentration from me to someone else, from me to my audience, from me when I'm writing a book to my reader, right? It's a very powerful process. It takes very little time, but it takes your ego out of the story, your ego out of the picture. I'll show you in here some really great techniques, because sometimes, you need your ego in there as well. But I'll show you some techniques later on, which will allow you to bring your ego in and out at will, right? So that's 2. So a third reason. Now, once you've written your book, this one's connected to ego actually. When you've written your book and you're in the editing stage, now, a lot of people who's watching this will get this one straight away, and they'll go like, they'll get that little aha moment. So what happens is that when you meet people who have been writing a book for 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, 20 years, their whole life, right? When you dig a little bit deeper, what you find is that they've written the book or they're in the process of it, but they're not using their time efficiently. And that could show up in a few different ways. One way at the end of the book, This one now comes down to the editing. So what happens is that they've gone through, they've edited it once, the ego's come up probably, and they've tried to rewrite it. And then on the next edit, because you edit as a book in total, so it might take you, a week, 2 days, 3 days, 2 months to go through the whole book and edit it. The process which I'm going to teach you, it would take you do it within 1 day. So what happens is that when you come back to it to read it through for a different type of edit, then the information that's in there prior, you now have an updated mind, an updated thought, an updated opinion about what that looks like. And you go through and then you re-edit it again. You're way ahead of me. Each time you go through, you keep on changing it, right? That's one trap that people get stuck in. Another trap, so for example, as a speaker and as a coach, what I have to understand when I write a book, this is a great technique actually. When I write a book, I've got to understand that, right now, I'm writing 110% of where I am right now. My thoughts, my feelings, my attitudes to life. The 3-step process that I'm following right now, I'm true to that. And I know that next week, next month, next year, that might change. But where I don't get sucked down into this vortex is that I write from that perspective of understanding that when I wrote that book back over there, that was 100% true for me at the time that I wrote it, and that is what I'll stay true to. So when I'm re-editing, I don't need to change it anymore because I understand that that's where I was. Whether I've come on now, whether I've grown, whether the 5 steps is now 3 steps, or the 5 steps is 4 steps, or whatever it might be, right? It doesn't matter because I wrote at the time of what was completely true for me at that time in that moment. This really helps as well if you write blog articles, this types of things, because you have to understand when you cement that, solidify that, when you acknowledge that within yourself, it makes it a whole lot more easier than to write it and get it out there and stop self-sabotaging yourself. All right? Now, so there's 3 great tips there. I'm sure they've been of great value. Now, the next step that we're going to cover next will be actually, 3 or 4 little tips of how to actually write a book. So we're getting a little bit more now into the structure of actually how to write a book. All right? I'm sure you're going to find it extremely interesting. Remember, we have a Facebook group. So just check in the comments, right? There's a link there to the Facebook group. Join the group, guys. There's going to be a lot more content that will be shared in there. We'll trickle the content in, but you'll be getting a lot of good content in there, which will help you, to turn your story into a book. And if you want to build your brand, to turn your story into a 6 or 7 figure income. All right? Look forward to seeing you on the next episode, guys. Bye for now.